What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Mini TV Reviews. I am your host, Mo, and today we're going to be discussing High Potential. That's right, y'all. This is Season 2, Episode 2, titled Checkmate. I hope you guys have had a wonderful start to your weekend wherever you are. I hope you are celebrating safely. So without further ado, let's go ahead, get into the synopsis real quick, and then we're going to get right into the episode. So the synopsis for this one is, as the major crimes team desperately seeks answers amidst a string of unresolved crimes, Morgan suspects the game maker is responsible. Daphne and Oz set out to find Roman, and Elliot prepares a surprise act for his school's talent show. That was a mouthful, y'all. That's the whole episode right there. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we start this episode off where we left off with the last one, and that's with DK chasing down Derek. Now, Derek ends up leading him into this parking garage, but when he gets there, Derek has deserted his car along with the gun that he had in there. Okay, so he done took the gun with him. DK don't know where he done went to. He ends up calling back at the precinct to give them an update. And Morgan tells him, hey, you need to get back here because the game maker just walked in on me and Selena wondering why his face is on the news. So he gets back there, and by that time, they had run a whole report on him. So we find out that he's going by Matthew Clark at this particular time. He doesn't have any type of record, but his mom had a record when he was a baby. I think it was like for grand theft or something like that, Grand Theft Auto or something like that. But anywho, that's a game, y'all. Auto theft or something of that nature. So anywho, he just wants to know why in the world he's here. Now, Morgan feels like she should go in there and question him because only he would be arrogant enough to walk up in here because he knows that he's going to be able to walk out by the time they're done with him. Okay. Now, they was like, yeah, of course they know that he wants to talk to Morgan, but they don't want to give him what he wants just yet, so they have DK go in. And so DK is asking him about all of the other different victims from the game from the previous season, the 3 victims there, including Oz, because he was like the last one. And he was like, I don't know none of them people. So Morgan and Selena are looking on behind the glass, and she's getting upset because you're not asking the right questions. See, that's why I need to be in there. So Selena was like, hey, man, cool your jets. We don't want to do too much because if we do too much, he has every right to walk up out of here. And if he walk up out of here, he may not ever come back. And we might not ever be able to find Maya. Okay, so then he asked about Maya. And he was like, no, I don't know her neither. Well, my colleague said that she saw you at this particular party the other day. Do you know a dude named Derek or Jason? Again, he denies everything. Okay, you must have me mistaken. So then he ended up asking him, did he know the 3 people from the grief support group that they go to? Because you remember that's how all 3 of them were connected. And he was like, me going to a grief group? Nah. I don't know who y'all think I am, but obviously you've got the wrong guy, detective. Okay. And so that was like, all right, whatever. So by this point, Morgan is texting him off the charts. Like his phone might as well be ringing at this point because that's how quickly the texts are coming in. It's pissing him off. It's pissing Morgan off. Matthew, game maker, can clearly tell the DK is getting frustrated and that he's the reason behind the frustration. And so he starts taunting him a little bit, talking about, hey, is that your wife? Is that the side piece? Oh, you got a little love triangle going on, huh? I see what you're doing there. And so by this point, DK done got up and walked back in there to cuss Morgan out. He 2 seconds away from it. So they arguing like children. And Selena was like, hey, y'all need to see the bigger picture. So before DK had left out of there, he ended up asking him, hey, I'm hungry. Could I get a snack like some Pillsbury cookies or something like that? Some juice, some water? But emphasis on the Pillsbury cookies because he didn't just specifically say cookies. He said Pillsbury. So then when DK, I want to also point out that when DK was asking him about his colleague seeing him at this party, he was like, oh, she didn't see me there. And Morgan was like, see, he said she. How did he know what gender I was? He just said colleague. He didn't specify what gender. So clearly they know that he's there. He knows who he is to them. Okay. So as Selena is calming them down, Morgan notices that he said Pillsbury cookies. And so then we was like, okay, oh, Pillsbury, we ain't trying to go to no store. And she was like, no, Pillsbury is like this particular defense move that you can make when you're playing chess. It's a very complicated move. Basically, it uses pawns, and it's like the Queen's Gambit and some more stuff, okay? A whole bunch of them moves that I don't know nothing about because I don't know how to play chess, all right? I tried it. It didn't work out so well. So, anywho, only she knows what he's talking about. So long story short, at the end of that particular move, you have to sacrifice a smaller piece. And the smaller piece to his game is Jason. They have to let him go. And so DK was like, are you crazy? Derek is still out there on the loose looking for him. And she was like, I know, but this is a part of his game in order for us to try to find Maya on time, right? So they go talk to Derek, Selena, and DK. Jason. They can't find Derek. So they go talk to Jason about being released under his own recognizance because, and at your own precautions, because it's somebody still out there trying to kill you by the name of Derek. Now, we don't know where he is right now. You do have the option to stay here at the precinct or you can go home. But just know that somebody is trying to set you up to make it look like you killed Maya to him. Okay, so that's why he's looking for you. We ain't found him yet. And so they was like, what you want to do? You want to stay here? You want to go home? And he was like, I'll take my chances at home. But what y'all gonna do for me if I decide to go home? Well, Selena says that she's gonna set up a 3-car security, okay, a 3-car uni perimeter for him, and we'll keep you safe. Now, as that's happening, we do find out that, we don't know if Maya's still alive. We just know that she's missing, okay? The clock is ticking. So while they're having this conversation with Jason, Morgan is keeping an eye on him still behind the glass. And so he ends up getting up and he starts walking around the room and he's talking about how he now understands why people confess to things, to crimes that they didn't commit, because, it's so compelling to do so. You got the cold walls and all the things, right? So then he walks over right in front of Morgan and he says that this one time him and his friends got in trouble because they was playing a game of chicken. All right. The goal is to not blink. We was going right at each other. And then at the last minute, his friend blinked and he swerved. And he was like, yeah, Morgan, don't be swerving. Okay. So as she's looking at him, she ends up getting a phone call. I'm sorry. Before that happened, she got a phone call. She ended up calling Ludo. And she was checking on the kids. And this is when Elliot had told her that he wanted to participate in the talent show now that this kid had to drop out for some sort of medical illness. And so she was like, all right, cool. But she's really hesitant about it because she feels like, he's already being bullied in school. What type of cool surprise actor you gonna put on? She's concerned for his emotional well-being. This might make it worse. And so Ludo was like, it's a surprise. I can't tell you what it is, but just know that I'm helping him. And so just as she's telling him, she was finna get ready to snap off on him. And he asked her, was she okay? But then that's when the game maker started talking to her and she got off the phone. So after he done said his little bit about the chicken and not swerving, Selena comes back in and says, hey, you got to go because we just got a call about a bomb threat on the Metro bus. So by the time they get there, everybody else, the bomb squad is there, and they basically told her that somebody had called it in because they heard something ticking in his backpack. Now, while they didn't find a bomb in there, they did find, I believe, that clock along with this thumb drive attached on the back that's got footage of Maya. Now, whoever did this, we know it's the game maker, erased the timestamps on it, so you don't know if this is like from like 2 nights ago. You don't know when this was. You don't know if this was more recent or what. So there's no way to reassure Derek that Maya is still alive, even if they did show him this footage. Okay, so they've only got 2 hours to play whatever game that he wants to play in order to save Maya. And so she's singing a particular song, and this is confirmation that this is the game that they want him to play, because the name of the song is like Bizarre Love Triangle or something like that, which he mentioned the love triangle when he was talking to DK. So then when she looks at the bag that the clock came in, it's some label that she doesn't recognize, but a piece of the stitching is out of place. And so she ends up pulling it because clearly he doesn't do anything by mistake, by mishap. So she pulls the string, and after she pulls it all the way through, y'all, the message says, "Hello, Morgan," or "Hey, Morgan. Yeah, it's time to play." Now, side note, while they was running the opening credits, y'all, I saw that this particular episode was being directed by James Roday Rodriguez. And if you are familiar with the psych world, you know that this is old Shawnee Sean. And this whole episode, I feel like, is going to put me in the mind frame of when he was having his bouts with yin and yang. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm super excited to see where this episode takes us, y'all. Hopefully they find Maya safely. And then also, while they're looking over this information, Oz and Daphne are still trying to track down our boy Roman. Well, from the last episode, we saw that Mekhi Phifer, aka Roman, was in a hotel room, and he ended up pulling an envelope from up under the mattress. So they had gotten word that he had checked into this particular hotel, but no confirmation that he had checked out. So just when it looks like they're about to give up on this and go back home, he ends up stepping out and they see him. So then they end up following him the following day, and they do confirm that this is Roman, but he was like, "I ain't got time to talk to y'all right now. I got somewhere to be." I see why Morgan, because Mekhi Phifer, even though he's older, y'all, he don't look it. He got the dad bod thing going on. He done gained a little weight in his face, but he looks really good still, y'all. So Morgan ends up calling Oz and Daphne, and they end up telling her that they believe they found Roman. So they take a picture of him, and she was like, "Yeah, no, that ain't him." And they was like, "Wait a minute, are you sure about that?" And she was like, "Well, I mean, I laid down with him long enough to make a baby. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's not him." So now they got to go back to the drawing board and figure out why he's using Roman's name. Okay. Now, her and DK end up turning their attention back to the interview that Selena is currently conducting on Matthew. And of course, he's still denying knowing where Maya is and kidnapping the other victims. Now, he ended up telling her where he was last night. Now, his alibi was that he was at his house alone reading a book. Oh, okay. I mean, that's not really much of an alibi. You was by yourself, so can't nobody verify that you was at your house all night. Okay? But either way, he was like, "Look, I ain't got nothing to hide. If you really want to, you can go and search. You can search my car. You can search my accounts. You can search my house." And she was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" He was like, "Yeah, I ain't got nothing to hide." Smiling and grinning the whole time. So Morgan was like, there's clearly something there that he wants us to find. So they end up securing the place to make sure that there were no bombs there. And they get in there. Now, Morgan starts rummaging through everything, knocking stuff over. And she ends up finding this book that happens to be upside down, purposefully placed that way. Now, she immediately recognizes this book as a book about a man who saved the world by preventing a nuclear war. Petrov. That's his last name. Don't ask me what his first one is. So, that's not really helpful right now to what they got going on as far as trying to find people, but just know that part will come into play as far as like the chicken and the blinking and all those things, right? This means war. This clearly means that he's escalating into something bigger than this. So they end up turning back to the video of Maya, and they realize that she's blinking out these numbers in Morse code. And the numbers that she's blinking out just happen to match the same numbers as Jason's address. Now, once they get there, they only got like a minute left to look for whatever they're supposed to be looking for before the time runs out, the 2-hour time frame. So once they get there, they're trying to talk to Jason. Jason's not understanding why they're there. "We've already been here. I've let y'all look through my place before. Y'all didn't find nothing the first time. What am I supposed to be helping y'all find?" So they was like, "We don't know." So DK was like, "Look, time is up." So as soon as the timer is going off, y'all, his daggone car explodes. There was a bomb in the car. So now Jason is rattled. I mean, clearly everybody needs to be rattled, because had y'all not gotten here, y'all was on the way, y'all got stuck in traffic, y'all got caught at a red light. Oh, y'all would have been cookies. Crisp. So that's not funny. I shouldn't laugh. So Jason, sorry, let's head back to Nevada for a quick second. So they try to press this guy who's using Roman's name as his own, but he ain't giving up no type of details. And so they was like, okay, well, we can take you back to LA. And he was like, who told you I was from LA? Well, that's the type of jacket that you wearing. And he was like, and so what? I might just like blue. Okay. So, shout out to the LA Dodgers. So anywho, he was like, I might just like blue. Now, I don't know where it says in the law books that you can take somebody from a different state and transfer them back to California to question them about something that you have no evidence to prove. So until y'all get whatever y'all need to get, it's going to be a no for me. Have a good day, detectives. So they done struck out, y'all. So at the precinct, Jason and everybody else is there. And Jason is in an uproar. Okay, y'all can't protect me because you can't protect yourselves. So he was like, I don't want y'all security detail no more. I'm hiring my own people. Now, they trying to dissuade him against doing that. Okay? That's not a really smart idea, but at this point, he don't care. Better safe than sorry, or so he believes. Now, of course, this plays right into whatever Matthew is planning, because as soon as Jason leaves, we see that Derek is still very much on his trail. Okay? So he's following him. Now, Morgan ended up going home. She's clearly frustrated. There's nothing that they can do about it. They have to let Matthew go. And so he leaves. Now, in the process of him leaving, he was like, don't blink. I hope you find what you're looking for. Or this is when they went to go search his apartment. My bad, y'all. So, anywho, she's leaving and she's going home to her family at this point. So she goes to check in on Elliot. Elliot and Ludo are currently working on whatever he's going to be presenting at this talent show, and they shut it down as soon as she walks through the door. Okay, this is top secret. Okay, can't nobody know what we doing. So Ludo ends up walking out while she talks to him, and Elliot is very aware of the fact that, yes, this may make things worse, but I'd rather lose the battle and win the war. And when he said that, side note, y'all, I just love the conversations that she has with him. It's okay to be different. It's okay for your kids to be different. They're not supposed to blend in with everybody else. They're not supposed to follow everybody else. Be your own person. And so he was like, that's okay, Mom. I'm still going to go out there. I'm going to do my thing. It's going to be amazing. And if some people don't like it, then I'd rather lose the battle than lose the war. And so she was like, oh, that's perfect. This is probably what my bully at work wants me to do. And so she was like, let me go ahead and go on back. So she ended up calling, she ended up showing up at Matthew's house. Okay, I'm here. You said you wanted me to submit to you. You know where I live at. You know where I shop at. You know I got kids. I'm not trying to put them in any danger. My job is to protect them, and I'm protecting them by telling you that I swerve. I blink. I run off the road. I'm whatever you need me to do at this point. I give up. I don't want to play this game with you anymore because this is getting very dangerous. And so he was like, that's it. And she was like, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all. Now, where is Maya? Can you tell me where she is? And he was like, I I seriously don't know where she is, Morgan Guillory. Okay? But what I will say before you leave is this is a really old building. You might want to take the stairs instead of the elevator. So she knows that this is a clue. Now, while that's happening, Derek has followed Jason to this hotel that he has checked into. Okay? Derek has also gotten a room there. Now, just as Jason is walking by with his security detail, here comes Derek finna get ready to leave out his room and follow him. Now, Selena and them finally get a hit on Derek's credit cards, and she ends up giving DK the address. And so as he's headed that way to go try to save Jason before Derek take him out, Morgan is calling him because she's taking the stairs and she hears the bizarre love triangle playing in the stairwell. She's found the room. that's blaring the music, but she can't get in. Y'all, what's gonna happen? Is Maya still alive? We don't know. Is Derek? I'm sure they gonna get to Jason before Derek take him out. I'm pretty sure of that. But is Maya alive? That's the bigger question. So they are racing against time. Y'all, Morgan is banging, trying to get this door down. She is banging on the door so much so that some of the neighbors in the surrounding apartments have come out to see what the hell is going on. And she was like, look, don't call the police because I'm on the phone with the police. I got that part squared. What I need you to do is call the supervisor and get him up here so I can get this door open. Please and thank you. Now, at the same time, DK is actually just now getting to the hotel, and he gets eyes on Derek just as Derek is finna get ready to put his gun on Jason. Okay? Hands up where I can see him. So thankfully the soup gets there in time. Morgan is able to get in, and Maya is able to tell him all the necessary information that he needs to know in order to confirm that she is still yet very much alive. Okay? All is well. He's going to be able to see his son and her again, although he's going to have to spend some time in jail. And unfortunately, Matthew is free to go for now because Maya could not confirm who snatched her. They have no solid proof that he was the one that did it. So therefore, they're going to have to wait to arrest him. Okay. Now, just as all of that information is coming through the pipeline, here come Oz and Daphne coming back in from Nevada, and they apologize for not bringing Roman back, and she apologizes to him for not getting Game Maker. Okay. And so he was like, that's all right, because I was secretly hoping that I could arrest him myself anyway. Okay. So then the Maya's medical reports come back, and it turns out he never gave her a scratch. Never gave her a scratch, never broke a bone, no abrasions, not even a hangnail, okay, came from him. So how is it that she got blood on her clothes and in her trunk, but she came out unharmed? So then we go back to when, and I forgot to mention this, when they were running his records, right? They didn't have anything on him aside from he volunteers at the hospital sometimes. So lo and behold, after they ran the video footage back, they saw him leaving the hospital with some of Maya's blood. Okay? Didn't hurt a fly. So she ended up going to his house and she confronted him. Now, she did tell them before she left that he had a picture of a specific monkey on his wall, and that specific monkey, when their back is against the wall and they're literally in cages, they will start self-harming in order to not be prisoners or taken alive, if you will. So he ain't going to jail, not if he can help it. So she goes to go confront him, and he ends up telling her that, his mom worked at this luxurious hotel, and for whatever reason, one of the very rich patrons that was visiting there blamed her for stealing something, even though it was insurance fraud. Okay, they were just trying to get some insurance money out of the situation. We don't know what happened. For what it's worth, Morgan doesn't believe that the mama actually stole anything. She was just framed for the job, right? Because somebody had to be the scapegoat. Okay, because the rich never pay for their crimes. So they ended up blaming his mama. In turn, she got arrested and she died in prison, which caused him to bounce from house to house to house because she was a single parent. Okay. And so because of that, he wanted to frame Jason or have Jason picked off because, like I said, the rich never pay for their crimes, even though he has been, settling all of these sexual assault cases out of court and all of those things. And he wanted to make the police look foolish. And he wanted to get revenge for his mom. Okay? That's it. That's all. My mama never hurt a fly. She just got framed. And Morgan was like, from what you tell me, I actually do believe you. I don't think you lying about that. But the truth still remains is that you hurt Maya, not physically, but you caused so much emotional trauma just by kidnapping her, from keeping her from her son, with Derek and everybody that was involved as a part of her family. You hurt all of them. And you are a thief. unlike your mama, because you stole that blood from the hospital. So she ended up telling him, that the police are on their way and they're going to arrest you and you're going to be in the cage. And he was like, nah, see, that's where you're wrong. Okay, I'm not going down. I'm not going to be in nobody's cell. And so with that, y'all, he tried to jump off the side of his railing from his apartment balcony. And he did jump, but he landed on one of those blow up things that they have for safety purposes, when you're trying to rescue people. Yeah, he fell on that. And Oz was actually able to arrest him and charge him with the kidnapping of Maya, him, and the other 2 people that was involved in last season's episode. So all is well that ends well, y'all. Maya was reunited with her baby boy and her sister. Derek probably gonna have to spend a little bit of time in jail, but he'll be all right. Jason is still alive and breathing. Hopefully he learned his lesson and won't be touching on them girls no more without their consent. And so now it's time for the talent show. Okay, Elliot comes out and the kids is heckling him and making fun of him. He ends up performing. He does like this cute performance where he done mixed and mashed up some music. He's rapping and he's telling people how we all the same. Don't put no titles on it, okay? If you really want to know about me, don't talk about me. Just come over here and talk to me, okay? Learn about me, and I'll learn about you. It was real cute, y'all. Now, Morgan and them stood up and, did a standing ovation for him, and he was proud of himself. And I am too. Elliot, you did your thing, boo. So, after everything is said and done, she ends up spotting the guy who's posing as Raymond, over in the corner. And so she excuses herself to go talk to him real quick. Turns out his real name is Arthur. And Arthur was sent by Raymond to lay eyes on Ava and her just to make sure that they're okay. Now, we don't know whether or not he's a good friend of Raymond's or Raymond. We don't know if he's a good friend or not. We don't know if he's a friend or a foe at this point, but all Morgan knows is that he had his backpack. Okay, and the reason that she knows that it was his back is because he was an Angels fan. Okay, so we don't know if he's still alive or not, but he was like, yeah, I talked to him earlier this week and he told me that I could only trust you. So my question is, if you're the only person that he could trust, but he can't trust law enforcement, why is the only person that he can trust working with the feds, working with the law? I need to know these things. So he was like, whenever you're ready to talk, here's my number. He ends up giving her a card and he walks away just in time, but not quick enough for Ava to not notice him. And she asked Morgan, who was that man? And she was like, I don't know. I don't know just yet. We're going to find out. And that's the way the episode ends, y'all. It was really good. I'm glad that they wrapped up this game maker thing. I'm glad they did not drag this on. Hopefully we don't run into no arch nemesis for a while and we just solving crimes. But I really did enjoy this. You could tell that this had James Roday all over it. I love this episode. They say he's supposed to be directing 2 episodes this season. So I'm curious to see which other one he's going to be hitting on. Okay, but y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. Okay, you can reach me at Me and You TV Reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also reach me at My TV Reviews Podcast without the S on the end at gmail.com. I love y'all. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful start to your weekend. Y'all, please stay safe out there, however you decide to celebrate. And until we meet over the airwaves again, I am Mo, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.